A few years ago, I decided to start a new West Marches campaign because that had gone so well the first time I did it. So I gathered up my players and jumped into the game. The campaign was set in the city of Eserith, a massive settlement that had been pulled through a slipgate to a strange land around 100 years ago. Almost all attempts to explore the surrounding area have ended in failure. However, a new group of adventurers were now beginning to plan new incursions into the shadowy woods around them, to get treasure and fame, and also to help out the townsfolk and stuff too, I guess. The first adventuring party was made up of 3 player characters. We had Quilus, a local inventor who'd recently built a fascinating new weapon for himself. A gun. Now nobody can stop me from creating the greatest railroad network in the entire world. Nobody! Next up, we had Jodder, the local drunk. Look, I can't keep selling you ale until you start paying off your tab, alright? Stogfamy of blasphemy, man. I don't know what that means. Look, there's a bounty board over on the wall, and we're running a new promotion here where if any adventurers tell their stories in the tavern, we'll give you free room and board. Free ale? Yes, that includes ale. I'm in. And lastly, we had Stygander, a local Viking who'd gotten tired of being a guard on the walls looking out at the vast horizon, and instead wanted to go explore it himself. The party had all met and agreed to complete a small bounty by a man named Farmer Jack, who wanted the party to track down the corn thieves who'd been stealing from him. I'm telling ya, it's gonna be those gosh darn teenagers from the tavern, ruining music with their newfangled loot things and stealing my corn. The tracks in the mud are leading away from the city, so I don't think it's the teenagers. That's what they want you to think. I can hear their war cries echoing out from the center of Eserith, mocking me, saying they're never going to give it up, saying they're never gonna let me run around. It gives me chills just to think about it. Alright then, I think we'll just ignore all of that and go follow the tracks to find the people actually stealing your corn. The party followed the tracks out to the east, and after a few hours of traveling, they found an ancient road leading north and south, and on the other side of the road was what used to be a general store. Painted over the old sign were the words, "The store is closed. Please do not enter. There are no goblins here. None at all." Well, I guess that means the corn thieves aren't here. They must have made a fake track to lead us here while they escaped another way. I believe I see a goblin through the window right now. No, you see, the sign says there's no goblins here, so... What a cunning deception! The party quickly entered the general store and defeated the 2 goblins who'd been standing guard. Dug into the ground in the center of the room was a tunnel leading down to their burrow, and was likely where they were keeping the corn they'd stolen from Farmer Jack. One by one, the party slid down the ladder and began to sneak through the bandit hideout. However, they each went off in different directions. This campaign was starting well. Jodder entered the goblin's animal pen, which had a few wolves in cages, and one that was currently just out in the room. Aw, you're so cute. Who's a good boy? You are. Yes, you are. Oh, you're hungry, aren't you? Do you want some rations? I have some spare ones. Jodder fed the wolf a ration, and after a successful animal handling check, the party had a new pet. I think I'm gonna name you Brutus. Meanwhile, Stygander wandered into a small prison in the back of the hideout. There was a single cell resting at the far end of the dark, dingy room, and the shadows seemed to almost coalesce around the wooden door into the cell. As Stig walked towards it, he heard a psychic voice pierce his skull.
Unlock this door, mortal, and unleash me upon the world once more.
So I was planning on doing that before you said anything, but now I'm not so sure. Though I do suppose enemy of my enemy and all that. Stig slowly swung the door open, and saw, standing inside, next to a rotting corpse was a shadowy, spectral goblin. It looked at Stygander with its large crimson eyes and spoke once more into his head.
Thank you. I will remember this next time we meet.
The shadow then phased through the ceiling and disappeared. Why exactly did you need me to open the door if you could just do whatever that was? Meanwhile, the last member of the party had snuck into the throne room of the bugbear that controlled this hideout. Quilus quietly crept up behind the bugbear as he was moving a crate of corn across the floor, drew his pistol, and shot the bugbear in the back of the head. Now, technically this wouldn't have had enough damage to kill the bugbear in only one shot, but I let Quilus pull it off as a single shot because it just kinda made more sense in world, and also because the gunshot woke up every single goblin in the dungeon, and they were now all rushing towards the throne room. Right, stealth mission. Whoops. Stygander, Jodder, and Brutus joined up with Quilus before the goblins arrived, and now the party faced a choice. They could either hole up in here and try to defend against the entire dungeon at once, or they could grab the crates and try to get out before the goblins got ready and caught up to them. Brutus, do you know of any secret tunnels back up to the surface we could go through? You can understand this dog? No, but I'm telling you, look at that phase. He totally knows a secret way out we can escape. Just trust him. The party grabbed the crates of corn and followed Brutus through the winding tunnels. Now, I made the players roll a luck check with a pretty hard DC in order to decide whether Brutus knew about any secret tunnels or not, and wouldn't you know it, they succeeded. So the party was able to sneak out a back exit to the goblin hideout and start traveling back to the city. Now, on the way back, the party came across 3 recently dead bodies. They were hobgoblins, and on each of their sets of armor was emblazoned the symbol of a wolf with a dragon's head. Yeah, I don't care about that. Look over here. There's some sort of clockwork arm thing. It's extremely well made, and I've never seen anything like this from within the city, which means, Brutus, you're already learning how to loot corpses. But you should be looking for coins, not random pieces of paper. I'll just take that off your hands then. These look like orders from a general. These weren't just random hobgoblins. They were a part of an army. Can't be too strong of an army if these 3 got killed by a clock. A clockwork. It's a metal person, sort of, if I were to try to simplify it. So either these soldiers were incredibly weak, which I doubt, or this metallic creature was incredibly strong. After that troubling news, the party made their way back to Eserith, where they dropped off the corn at Farmer Jack's, then returned to the tavern to take the bounty down off the board. However, even as the party had completed their mission, they couldn't help but think about what else could be out in the woods beyond the walls. I mean, they found a road, and the road had to lead somewhere, right? So another group of adventurers started to gather, preparing to find out what was at the end of that road. However, that's gonna have to wait until next episode, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that when it gets uploaded. Also, I have a Patreon if you want to help support the channel. You get access to a few short horror stories I've written, and new ones are occasionally getting posted every once in a while. Either way, I'll see you in the next video.